Okay, so you know how you sent over those YouTube transcripts from Rameez Qaiser?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those. So we're gonna kind of like go through those for you and pull out like, the main points.
Right, sound good.
Yeah, because they're interesting. They're both about content creation courses,
Yeah. Yeah.
but specifically like in the Pakistan,
Huh.
situation and context.
Yeah, and that whole, like, digital landscape,
Digital landscape. Yeah,
which
exactly.
is a different world over there.
It is, and we want to make sure you don't have to watch like the whole videos.
Yeah.
So we'll do it for you. And basically, we're gonna try and figure out like what his main arguments are, what he thinks makes a good course.
What he thinks are the big, like, obstacles and challenges.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So let's get right to it. So the
Yeah, let's do it.
first video is called Content and Course Creation in Pakistan. And he kind of like jumps right in with a really strong opinion.
Okay.
He basically says that a lot of courses in Pakistan aren't as good as like international courses.
Interesting. Okay, so right off the bat, he's kind of setting up a comparison.
Yeah, and what really got me was this idea of like a transformational process.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge concept for him. Like,
Okay.
that's central to his whole argument.
Is it?
Yeah, he's saying there's a big difference between, like, just giving information and, like, actually taking a student on a journey, you know?
Oh,
So, like, they start somewhere, point A, he calls it,
okay.
and they end up somewhere better, point B.
So it's not just learning like random facts.
It's not just facts, no. It's
Okay.
about, like, really learning a skill or even, like, changing as a person.
Wow.
He
Hey.
even uses the phrase, like, transformation skills and transformational journey.
Huh. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it implies the course creator has to do a lot more than just, like, talk, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like they have to design this whole experience,
Totally. Yeah, they have to think about how to help the student actually achieve something.
like give them processes, exercises.
Exactly. Make sure it's valuable for them.
So it's like a results-oriented approach.
Very much so.
Yeah. And you know what else he says?
What's that?
He says that you should like share the knowledge you've gathered throughout your life.
Well, I like that.
Me too. It's like your unique experience.
It's like your own wisdom.
Yeah, not just stuff from textbooks.
Exactly. It should be
Well-
stuff you've actually lived,
Yeah.
like practical knowledge.
So those courses would be way more valuable.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and this next part is super important. He says courses are made for once,
Okay.
but they should be memorable and evergreen.
Well, hold on. Evergreen. What does he mean by that?
Like they should last a lifetime.
So not just like a one-time thing.
No, it should stick with you.
Oh, wow. That's a high bar for course creators.
Isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And it kind of goes back to his critique of how teaching is done in Pakistan.
Oh, right.
He says that the current style needs to improve.
To reach that point B you were talking about.
Exactly, yeah, to help students actually become more knowledgeable.
So it's not just the content itself, it's how it's taught.
Right, the delivery method. And get this, he says teachers need to be creative.
Creative. Okay.
Yeah, like in how they design their lectures.
Interesting. So like just offering transformation isn't enough.
Not enough, no.
Yeah.
The lectures have to be engaging
Oh, okay.
and like drive that change.
Oh, so they need to like think outside the box.
Totally. He says you need a main outline, like a map for that journey.
Okay, the transformational journey.
Yeah, but then you need exercises too,
Exercises. Got it.
like challenges for the student.
To really make them think.
And the teacher has to be creative with those too.
So the teacher's not just like a talking head.
No, they're designing the whole experience.
That's a really different way of thinking about teaching.
It is. It's like they're more like a learning experience designer or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about presenting information.
Right.
It's about understanding how people learn
Yeah.
and how to help them change.
Okay, and to illustrate this point, he tells this little story about a creative writing class.
Okay, a story.
Yeah, so the teacher had her students write memoirs.
Okay, memoirs.
Interesting.
But she had them use actual letters that her father had written to her.
Wow, that's personal.
Right. And at first I thought it was just like a nice touch, you know?
I like to add some flavor.
But Rameez explains it's actually about overcoming fear.
Fear. Oh.
Yeah, like the fear of sharing personal stuff in your writing.
So the teacher was helping them with that.
Yeah, by breaking it down into steps.
So it wasn't so scary.
Exactly. And that's what he means by a carefully designed journey.
Oh, I see. Each step builds on the last one.
And it leads to a big change in the student.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is, right?
So it's not just about what you teach.
No,
It's about how you teach it.
exactly.
That's really cool.
Okay, so we've got a good handle on his thoughts about courses, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Now let's move on to the second video.
Okay. The second one.
This one's called How to Download Adobe Software Suite in Pakistan in 2025.
Huh. That title's kind of hinting at a problem already, isn't it?
Yeah, and the video actually starts on a pretty negative note.
He says it's highly unenjoyable.
Wow. Strong words.
But then he tries to find like a positive side to it.
Okay, so he's trying to be optimistic.
Yeah, but the main issue is that a lot of people in Pakistan can't afford Adobe software.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big one.
Right. It's like really expensive.
Especially for professional software.
Yeah, and he's really honest about it.
Is he?
He says he downloads it from the internet too.
Because he can't afford it.
Exactly. And then he talks about the risks, you know?
Oh, yeah, like viruses and stuff?
Yeah, especially if you have a good computer.
Right. You don't want to mess that up.
No, so he has this contact who gives him tested software,
Tested. Okay.
but it's still pirated.
Oh, so it's not like a perfect solution
No, it's just what he has to do.
because of the cost.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And he talks about the reasons why it's so expensive.
Like
Inflation in Pakistan
Oh, right, of course.
and U.S. sanctions.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would make a difference.
It does. It makes dollar really strong compared to the rupee.
So the software costs way more?
Way more. And he even like talks to young people directly.
Does he?
Yeah, he tells them to really think about whether they should buy the software.
Wow, that's a big statement.
It is. He's basically saying it's just too expensive for most people.
Yeah, and especially for young people just starting out.
Exactly. And then he brings up freelancers.
Oh, yeah, freelancers, they need this software.
They do. It's essential for their work.
Right.
But if they're just starting out,
Yeah, they probably don't have a lot of money
no, and it puts them at a disadvantage.
compared to like big agencies.
Yeah, or even experienced freelancers.
So it's a real barrier to entry.
It is.
That's tough.
So if we think about both videos together,
Okay, putting it all together.
the first one's all about making great courses that teach people valuable skills.
Right, transformational courses.
But the second one shows that a lot of people can't afford the tools to use those skills.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
It is. It's like they learn all this stuff.
But then they can't actually apply it.
Exactly, because they can't afford the software.
It's like a catch-22.
Kind of. So it's not just about making good courses.
No, it's about the whole system.
The whole economic situation.
Well, exactly.
So for you, our listener,
Right.
we've shown you these two sides of the story.
The good and the bad.
The desire for great content and the struggle to access the tools.
Right. So what do we do with that?
That's the question. How do people adapt?
Yeah. How do they innovate?
Can they find new ways to create content and develop professionally?
Even with these obstacles.
Yeah. Maybe they could use open source software
Well, that's a good idea.
or find ways to share resources.
Like a community approach.
Right. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for listening to our deep dive into these important topics.
And thanks for sending us these videos.
They were really thought-provoking.
Yeah, they were.
We hope this gave you a better understanding of Rameez's perspective.
We'll see you next time.
Right.